In school or at home, we learned how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide numbers. The formula is called an expression in programming languages. So if we wanted to add two numbers, we know to write the expression as follows. How about the expression 7 plus 2? Pretty easy to figure out how to operate that. How about 5 plus, and then you don't specify the second number? What's the answer? Well, you know the plus is going to have two numbers in order for you to figure it out. Two numbers, that's because the plus operator is what's known as a binary operator. So the mathematical operators that you're used to are called binary operators. Why? In order to give you the answer to this expression, you need to supply it with two numbers for that operator. Let's start off by creating a console application called Binary Operators. Let's click the new project link, and let's make sure we're in the Chapter 2 Lab 2.2 folder. And we're going to call this project Binary Operators. And click OK. Our main method is all ready for us to do some programming. Let's go ahead and declare two variables, a and b. Both will be an integer. A will be set to 13, and b will be set to 5. Now, let's go ahead and right-line that out so we can see exactly what they're equal to. We'll go console.writeLine, and in the parentheses, we will put in the two variables. Let's say that the first variable, which is placeholder 0, plus the second variable, which is placeholder 1, is equal to the third variable, which is placeholder 2. There is no third variable, so what are we going to do? We only have a and b. Well, let's do what we know. Let's put a in the first position, b in the second position, and we don't have a c, so we will put an expression of a plus b in that third place. Now, let's make sure we can see it. It doesn't run too fast by doing a console.read key. Let's run this. And it shows us that 13 plus 5 is 18. Excellent. Let's do that with another binary operator. Let's try subtraction. Let's copy this entire console write line and make a few changes to it. Put a minus here. And let's change our expression so it also has a minus. Let's run this. And the console shows us 13 minus 5 is 8. How about multiplication? Copy and paste the console write line again, and let's put an asterisk here and an asterisk in the expression as well. Let's run this. 13 times 5 is 65. Let's do division. Run and test this. It looks very good. Now, 13 divided by 5 is 2. Now, actually, there is 2, but there's 3 left over, like 2.6, but this is an integer. So this is really 2 remainder 3. But division of integers is going to give you the nearest integer. How do we find the 3 remainder? In other words, if something doesn't divide evenly, how much is left over? That leftover is called mod. Let's do the mod operator. We're going to do a console write line, and to make it friendly, let's put mod in here, and the operator is the percent sign, so we'll put that in the expression. Let's run this, and it says 13 mod 5 is 3, which means if you take 13 and you divide it by 5, and you don't care how many it divides into it, you just want to know what remainder doesn't divide evenly. That's what the mod is, and that is 3. Now consider what happens to a 35-year-old person on their next birthday. We know whatever their age is now, it will go up by 1 year. Let's set their age to 35 and then give them a birthday. Now you can see they are having a birthday and their new age is 36. Here's one more example. Numbers in our life are constantly changing. If someone told you to please drive 10 kilometers faster than you are now, then they want you to assign a new value to your current driving speed. That formula in C# would look like this. Now, there's another way to increment a variable value by 10. Use this second expression. Both expressions do the same thing. It's just the second expression is a shorthand for that same binary operator where you're adding a number to the original number. The following table shows more types of binary operators and their corresponding shorthand. So a binary operator like the plus sign is going to need two operands, or two numbers, like 5 and 13, in order to work. If you supply one operand or one number with an operator like the plus that wants two numbers, it's not going to work. But there are operators that will work on just one number. Those are called unary operators. Let's go into an example of that. Let's delete all of our code except for the console read key because we want that to pause the program at the end. And let's create a new variable where we say int I is equal to 10. So far we just have one variable. Now, what is the opposite of night? It's day. What's the opposite of cold? It's hot. Similarly, what is the opposite of 10? Let's say it's negative 10. So, what we're going to do is capture this value into a negative number. Let's go int j is equal to I times negative 1. Now, let's show what I is. I is 10, but j is the nemesis, negative 10. Let's show this with a console write line. The first variable j will be shown. That should be a negative 10. The variable I should still be 10. Let's run this. Yep, j is negative 10, and I is 10. There's another way to do this without using two operands. Just go negative of I and run it. J is negative 10, and I is 10. These kind of operators where only one variable is involved in the expression is again called unary operators. Let's delete these two lines of code. I is now equal to 10. But what if I is having a birthday? I needs to be equal to 1 more than it was before. The unary operator for that is I plus plus. Let's do a console write line. And in here, let's say, quote, I is equal to variable placeholder 0. And let's put I in. Let's run this. Notice I started off as 10, we incremented by 1, and then we showed it to the console, so the result is 11. What happens if we go I minus minus? Let's run this. Now it's equal to 9. So the minus minus takes 1 away, it decrements. Now you may see this frequently done. Instead of I plus plus, how about plus plus I? Let's run this. Hey, it's 11. So plus plus I and I plus plus appear to be the same thing. Well, at first. Now let's try minus minus I. Notice the result is 9. Let's replace this with 4 variables. Variable A is equal to 100, and if we take 1 away from 100, that'll be variable B, which should be 99. C is also equal to 100, and D will be equal to the decrement of C, so D should be 99. So we know A and C are starting off at 100. B and D are going to be 1 less than A and C, so they'll both be 99. Let's go ahead and write line this to the screen. And run it. Okay, we set A to 100. So why did it go to 99? Because if you put the minus minus before the A, it actually takes a value out of A. A gets decremented, and then that value is assigned to B. So A will be decremented and then assigned to B. This way, the value of b will become 99, and the value of a will be 99 as well. In the case of c and d, the value of c gets assigned to d, and then c is decremented. In this way, the value of d will be 100, and the value of c will be 99. From a page out of the book, here's a table that summarizes the unary operators and their order of operation. What exactly they do is shown here in the description. Let's tame these long expressions and make them look easy. What is 20 plus 10 plus 40 minus 20? Well, that's the same thing as 30 plus 40 minus 20. Or, that's the same as 70 minus 20. The answer is 50. It gets a little trickier if you combine addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. For example, what's 20 times 4 plus 10 divided by 2? Now, you always do multiplication and division before you do addition and subtraction. So this would be 20 times 4 plus 10 divided by 2. Or you could say this is 80 plus 5, which comes to 85. Now let's give some values to the variables and see how C# would calculate that. Let's say that A is 10, B is 4, C is 40, and D is 9. And we want to figure out what E is equal to if we do this expression. A times B. Well, A is 10, and B is 4, so that would be 10 times 4. The next set is going to be C divided by plus D. Well, C is 40, D is 9, but if we're going to increment it, it's actually 10. So this is 40 divided by plus 9, or we could say it's 40 divided by 10. So what we need to do is take 40 and add it to 4. The final expression would assign the value of 44 to the variable E. Time for Lab 2.2, Skill Check 1. Take a moment to pause this video and challenge yourself to do this skill check. Skill Check 2. Take a moment to pause this video and challenge yourself to do this skill check. That will do it for Lab 2.2 on operators and expressions. Our next item, Lab 2.3, capturing user input.